magic and energy and just having fun and going with the flow. So all of you, I think, you already tested the experience of the project library of ourselves, so I'm happy that you already know. In any case, for the sake of the streaming, I'm going to make a little review later about the project, very fast, and how do we produce the content, the embodied narratives that we call. So you can do in a very fast sketch, very fast exercise, but it's going to be like also robust in terms of fun. So you will see how it works. So you will have the possibility to go outside and record. Probably we're going to make 2 or 3 groups, depends on to you. Okay? And also, as Chen here is the only one who haven't tried, so I think it was a good opportunity to actually, you can admire and watch it from the outside, how is it done. But more than the experience itself, you're going to watch because this one is more intended to explore or like a proof of concept of the approach on multisensory possibilities. You know? So the experience that you're going to experience is just like to say a fiction. It's not part of the project library of ourselves, but that can show you later as well. So it's a mystic experience that you will figure it out. Don't worry, just enjoy. And you are very welcome to also get close a little bit. Don't interrupt the camera streaming, but you can get along. And if you want, you are going to watch a little bit what is happening. If not, you can stay in your chairs and just see. Okay? You stand up, right? Okay. Is centered? Is okay? Good. This is my center, by the way. Sorry. Daniel? Yes, now it's good. Now? Now it's good. Right now. Okay? Yeah. You can take it out.
Thank you.
So how was it? You want to
Like
share a
this.
little bit with that?
I thought you painted me. Okay.
You want to share a little bit your thoughts?
Yeah, it's very strong. I love the process of synchronizing because it's immediately another, like you embody that person immediately. And I love the moment that you cannot interact, but you still you don't have any interactivity, but you feel a lot of stuff in it. And yeah, it's super strong. I love it.
Good.
Maybe you can ask a question, I can respond. Now I cannot, I'm still there. This was so crazy, like to have something like kind of, like, okay, I know this relation to the wind and so on, but this was like fantastic to have, and I knew that, okay, fuck, when I leave I will have a lipstick on it.
Yeah.
It's okay. So it was really convincing also.
Cool. Questions? I was a moment when
It was a, how you say, like nail polish. First there was like a sign on my hand, and then it was like as wet as nail polish and cold as well. And then it was like kind of like also on my lip. I'm like, okay, that's brave to make me leave with a red lipstick from the experience. Yeah.
okay, cool. You
Thank
can
you.
give it an applause now.
No, you can get it.
So just 1 minute. Yes. Arif, listo. Pues ya no sé. No tenemos más. Aquí estamos.
Any charger for your computer?
I don't think so. Maybe just 1 second, because I want to show you what was happening with me in the audio, and also maybe I can share the video. Let's see if we can get this. Okay.
Prepare to take the hands from the wrists. 3, 2, 1, take. Up, 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 up. Turn, turn.
That's my cues.
Hands slide. Fingers slide. Go. 3, 2, 1, touch. Slide, slide. Hands slide. Fingers slide. Go. 3, 2, 1, touch. Slide, slide. Hands slide. Fingers slide. Go. From the wrist in 3, 2, 1, now. Turn, turn, go down, hook in legs and let go. Now prepare to grab the right foot with left hand. 3, 2, 1, grab ankle. Right hand top, up, 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 right thumb. Circle 1, circle 2, circle 3. Down, down, down. Down, floor, let go right, let go left. Touch oculus in 3, 2, 1, now, let go.
Give smell number 2 and moderate twin to user.
How about the flavor?
Yeah, but this is an experience.
Now prepare to help the user to stand up only using your right hand. Grab the right arm of the user from the side of the upper forearm, putting your thumb in the upper part and the forearm and the rest of the fingers in back part almost touching the elbow.
That was
3, 2, 1, grab, pull, 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 let go. Now prepare to put the cherry tomato in the mouth of the user. 3, 2, 1, put, go. Prepare for painting action. Prepare to grab the right hand by the wrist, using 2 fingers and your left hand. Notice the touching of the hand with the rest of the fingers for 2 seconds. 3, 2, 1, grab, up, turn, turn, fingers. Go. 3, 2, 1, paint. Line 1. Line 2. Line 3. Line 4. go. Prepare to paint the chin. 3, 2, 1, touch, slide, slide, go. Lower the hand of user, go. Prepare to give mask facing user. Three, 2, 1, touch, let go slowly, go. Take the mask from the user. 3, 2, 1, go. Touch the oculus gently with the mask. 3, 2, 1, touch, remove.
Give smell 3 and strong wind to user. Prepare to touch the left upper chest of the user with your left hand. 3, 2, 1, touch. 3, 2, 1, go. Prepare to hug. 3, 2, 1, hug. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, that's it. Did you imagine it like that? No, not so much.
I was thinking that you know the timeline.
Yeah, I sometimes I do it by memory, so I don't need too much of the almost any feedback or audio. I just feel it. But of course, there is also this need to be like precise as possible. So that's why sometimes we do differently. Sometimes we actually do. Sometimes we do like a video tutorial. So actually, like the camera filming Cheng and me doing the whole thing. And that video, we have to put it as an instructional video for the assistant on how he or she should do things. You know?
Do you feel yourself as like a performer?
Tell me?
Do you feel yourself like a performer person or
Myself?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think what we do is related with performance, but I think it's about connection more than me feeling as a performer. So it's like, well, it's something that is natural in all of us, you know. So in this case, it's kind of forced to be in this synchronicity and maybe like an idea on empathy as well, because I have to look at your micro gestures, you see if I am okay or not. I mean, for instance, when I was doing the this on the mouth, I can see like a little like half centimeter smile, and then I feel like super good. It's like, oh yes, and in that sense, it's beautiful, no, for me. So also, I think at some level, it also can create another kind of bond with you and me after having like this funny experience, no? So about performance, I think all of us are performers in that sense. So yeah, it's about connection. Any questions? No?
I'm simple.
Yeah, please.
Do you also kind of rehearse, like do rehearsals?
Rehearsal.
Yeah, when you like practicing the some sort of?
Yes, of course. There was an issue with it's still work in progress always. We always learn. After each thing that we do, we always learn which thing can be better. And we figured out that sometimes it's like super difficult. In this case, like you have to really train a lot in order to do it, and also swap places so other person does to you, so you understand when it's off, when it's not. And in the design of the library content, we're trying to create some rules, some guidelines that basically that the interaction should be super simple and simple to replicate. So you can go with a member of your family, a friend, and then you can actually do it like in a. Maybe you can rehearse a little bit. We were thinking about these social virtual reality stations. You can say, okay, if you're going to be the assistant, the guide, take 5 minutes to watch this video, and then you will watch it a second time. So the first time you kind of know what it is, and the second time this doesn't take you by surprise. But just like that, then it should be easy enough to do like simple movements like touch the shoulders, release the shoulder, touch the knee, release the knee. But as long as you are creative in the creation of the content, or you, the creators of the content and the stories of the person, they can be creative as well and saying, okay, when don't we do like something easy like this? That will be like middle term, no? But something like that, or just a smell, like a weird smell, or instead of something sweet, you put something salad, or you can play a little bit. We have been doing in workshops experiments that just went with senses. You are in a laboratory, or they simulated a laboratory, and they play with temptation. So we are going to give you something to eat, we are going to give you something to eat, and then you're about to, but they take it away, and people start like, it's kind of funny. So all of the things that you can do with your body about like these kind of micro gestures, let's say for the moment, they're like super impressive to work with it. So there's endless possibilities in that sense. But yes, should be easy enough not to rehearse a lot. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to bring it beyond the reality? I mean, to not have like a person, a real person inside, but to have something like, I imagine like one of the most famous things, like RTT project, with all the crazy
Yeah.
that movement doing. To have something like a bird that, or something surrealist, I don't know, something,
Yeah.
a flower that comes to you and touch you, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. The thing is that that's where the telepresence, because often we have been said by theorists in VR that what we do is more related with telepresence than with actually virtual reality. I mean, we use kind of virtual reality setup, but at the end the concept is more related with telepresence. So we have been thinking about using CGI, but more like for the design of the user experience more than the experimenting the content. That means, for instance, you can enter into a room where it is like some phantom avatars, lights, you know, whatever, and then you can approach to this or this, and then you enter the body, and then once you enter the body, the film starts. No? So you can mix a little bit the content. No, it's okay. So you can mix the content with this kind of approach, but mostly it would be for. Of course, we wanted also to try to match some new level of interaction, to having like animated hands that are tracked. You know, the texture of the body and track inside put it inside the VR film. Put like virtual hands, so you more or less have a little bit of proprioception of like, you know, agency of your movements and so on. Maybe we can do some interactions with the content. So if you decide that your energy goes that way or your energy goes that way, so maybe you can change the scene or the result of the narrative. But most of the time, I think we are not stuck, but we decide to work with a like very simple, low-cost video approach. Yeah. So this commonality, I don't know. I'm going to show you just a little bit, and then we really need to go to the production notes. I'm going very fast, but just a very overview on what we are and what we do. Is we are a group of friends, no, mainly. we are just simply experimenting and exploring and being confused all the time about what should we do with our lives, you know, and because there is too much in the world, and maybe what we intended in the past was okay, what this necessity of really trying to solve a lot of things, because we began as migrants. No, the origin of the group, we are all just migrants really to Spain and Europe, because of different situations, not necessarily bad situations. But we have also a little bit of chance of seeing like a big levels of not equality in terms of poverty and so on. So in the past, probably it was most common for us that our mothers, when we were a child, I remember my mother saying, okay, if you see this guy or this person or this happening, try to put yourself in the body of this person. So I think it's very common. So what we do is this mix where we try to see the relationship between identity and empathy, and basically disrupt this concept of the other, and these mind walls that separate us. So, in the idea of stepping in someone else's shoes and behind empathy, there is more like a interconnected phenomena that for instance, there is the vicarious pain. Vicarious pain is when you see the pain of another person and then you feel it. That is called vicarious pain. And you know, your brother, your sister, you know, like kids hit with the table, and then you're like, oh. So that oh is real. That oh is happening in your brain. So that's one way, let's say, of related with this idea. There's also the perspective taking, when you do like a cognitive effort, like a consciousness intended, rational cognitive effort, in imagining and understanding what the other person is going through. You see here in Barcelona a guy that is on the mattress on the street, and he's going to sleep, about an hour, and in the morning you see. So if you really take time, you can figure out, okay, maybe he was cold, and then maybe you know the story behind it, and you really try to put in the perspective taking. So you really sit down and start to imagine the day before and the process, maybe his family, his friends, the situation, the politics, everything, and so on. And then there is empathy. Empathy is actually this emotional response to the feeling of the other, knowing that the origination of this the response comes from the other. And there is compassion, Compassion is, after empathy, I was talking with you about it, that compassion is probably one of the goals that is, what do you do for the other, And when you step forward out of your comfort zone. And then altruism. So we saw a lot of other barriers that I was presenting. So there is some other barriers in our minds that prevent us to have this empathy-related behavior. So from science we learned that there was these walls that depending on the level of your implicit bias can block you for feeling the other. So they did this experiment with putting people light skin, putting in the people of dark skin. At some point they figured out that this exercise can also approach the reduction of implicit racial bias. So there was a lot of different experiments related with this. And also we were inspiring the Herson Lab, I was telling you, Herson Lab laboratory in Stockholm. And this is in Herson, and they were doing the Barbie doll evolution, and that was very inspiring for us. I don't think I have a video, but anyway, you can put Barbie doll evolution, and then you'll figure out a lot of information. Basically what the assistant is doing is that he's touching the foot of this Ken, or like this doll, at the same time. He was having this perspective. And the way that we're measuring the level of immersion or in this body is that the assistant, the volunteer, or the researcher, at some point he shows some rules or objects from different sizes. So, for instance, he showed like a pencil. He shows a pencil here, and after the experiment, they asked the person how size was the pencil. They said, no, the pencil was like this. So then and then, they figured out that the illusion worked. It was very simple to achieve. That's what we enter. And then we enter as a do-it-yourself neuroscience. I mean, I think our souls, we connected a lot of cables, we do a lot of duct tape, so if we were to create a religion, it would be about like cables and duct tape. Something like that, because a lot of that we did. So we decided to hack these experiments. Say, okay, let's do it. Let's do it, but low cost, because we don't have access to these laboratories. So we decided to do it ourselves with a very humble intention, just more than the experiment. At the time there was no Oculus, no VR headsets, not anything of that. So we just have like this spy glasses, camera, this supposedly wireless radio frequency, little TV screen that it was like very difficult to work with, and just a broken glasses with a webcam. So yeah. You already saw this video, I'm just going to skip it. But we evolved from having this very simple system to have like a very like a more robust system where we started to tell stories of people and to share stories with people. So to summarize, we have the embodied narratives, that is life, that is one performer that follows the movements of the user, so you have agency of your movement, like this. You have the body swap, that is about body awareness, mutual respect, understanding the body image evolution, and by so understanding or proposal about empathy, related behaviors, and putting yourself in someone else's shoes. As you can figure out already, the system is very simple. It's a little bit of software made in Unity. Some OSSC controls to activate some actions. And those actions like more suggestions of actions to the users, but we try to make them do the most of that. So, you know, if they're going like too crazy, we say like, try to slow down your movements. And then we have what we call hyperlocal storytelling, that is what we're going to do today. I should put it. We have been, along with the machine to be and along as well with the library of ourselves, we have been traveling around like more than 25, maybe 30 countries already, working with different grassroots associations, cultural associations, schools, I don't know, different kind of also stories, not only sad, also beautiful stories about happiness, about anything. But as long as there is like a process behind where we can work with this. So we are very happy, and the idea is that this project keeps going on. The way of doing this is, as I was mentioning always, is about empathic listening. It's about working with people in the sense that you don't know what is going to happen, what is going to result. Just go and feel the real world. You know about this saying about that you should open your eyes to the signals of the universe, and then you will see the signals that they will lead you to the path. So it's a little bit like that. So you really try to stay open, not have any judgment, even in ourselves and in our work, because sometimes it's hard. Oh, we are doing right, we are doing bad, but we believe in something. No? We believe in this can be a tool to promote mutual tolerance, and so we should do it. I mean, we believe in this, but sometimes the world like punches hard because it's not been so easy all the time. But sometimes as well, you have very nice, comfortable experiences that makes you okay. I can die happy today. Different stories we have been recording. It was a collaboration with, I'm going to skip very fast, an association called Sulfas here in Barcelona. Young Muslim kids wanted to share stories about their daily lives here in Barcelona. Very sad because most of them was about like prejudice and bias on the work, on the schools, on the streets. This is in City of God. And the story of related with police violence. There's a lot of conflict because of the drug wars in Brazil. This is the story just in the shoes of this family that they lost their children because of police violence, and it was very hard because the police stated that this child was opposing resistance, and that's why they had to kill him. So often when we go to these encounters, let's say, it's not always sad. You will always have a lot of inspiring stories and a lot of positive energies as well. Probably some of you saw the Colombia one. Also, it was reenactment of real life story events that happened to these guys that used to be part of the wars, being like paramilitaries or guerrilla or displaced by violence. The story of Jonathan, also some of you already know, a transgender guy in Amsterdam that shares a little bit about his story of life in the Netherlands. And so in Mexico we had doing collaborations in some mining sites where it was kind of weird because it was like this big separation between like a lot of poverty in a like town and then like super rich. And then they were like doing this mining, so we worked with some the children of the workers of the mining company and the directors of the mining company were also the children of the people that live around and were like very worried about the contamination of the water and everything. So the kids started to tell their stories, so we did a lot of workshop with them and so on. We have been doing a lot of different this interdisciplinary work. So working with this dance group with functional diversity, we created this kind of communication system to make them dance standing on the feet because that's what they wanted. The gender swap, that is a video that was a bit famous back in 2014, just before we were just about to quit everything, to back to Colombia, to Brazil, market to Mexico, and then everything back. But we were very lucky that at some point some blog put it on and people started to see about these possibilities. And they evolved, so transgender, really nice story about transgender and so on. We have been doing, we love this idea of using the streets, like open spaces, like pop-up things that you don't expect. The system. Yeah, what do you see in this picture? Of course, you see these two persons swapping a body. But what we really wanted to see in this picture is this, because this is the real body, you know, someone is waiting online, just waiting for, and what, you know, this person also has a lot of illusions or potential and so on. So we wanted to explore this area, making people somehow be part of the experience. Also, if it is only watching, no, but at least it's also, I wouldn't say entertain, they say magical for people as well that are not experiencing. So we wonder about the rituals. The rituals as in daily life you go from point A to point B, but if there's a swimming pool, you go to the locker, you put your backpack, you take your clothes, you prepare yourself, you go, and then suddenly you are in the water, but you have this ritual that makes you this transition between different worlds, you know, and different realities actually. So usually when you go to a place and you're going to try to experiment something in virtual reality, in that sense could be a little bit cold, you know, because it's just put in the headset and then you're in another reality, no? But it should be a little bit more, why not, a little bit more poetry in that little simple transition, you know? So what about, I don't know, what about if the assistant that is helping you put in the headset doesn't wait till the next time, but maybe he do something for you, you know, maybe he just wish you luck, good luck, you know. It's like this connection of not being alone in these transitions. very fast, those couple of experiences that I was telling about this idea of like commonality that was referring to something that happened to all of us. Let me see if this has a video. Okay, so that's an experiment that I was doing with a friend. Actually, it was not the final cut, the final one we did in Arc de Triomphe. But it was in Hangar, if you already know maybe. So David Lyons, a friend, he's a very nice, cool musician, you should look for him, he plays a lot here in Barcelona. So we decided to create this walk a mile in someone else's shoes. Like, why not? I really want to walk on the street. So we tried an experiment just walking in a straight line, because in virtual reality, as often, if something is not under your control and it's like a straight, slow line, you will not get that dizzy. So we did that experiment, and the way of replicating is just like this. This is I was just walking with the person, and then just walking until the end is a hug, and stuff like that. Also, I was trying to create these experiences with our shared experience, where you are the assistant for the other person's experience, and vice versa. So it was this dance, and what they actually see, everything is here. Okay, the music is not here, I can show you another place where it is. But it's very fun because the challenge there was to use, in first instance, the Oculus Go. So it's 3 degrees of freedom, so actually you cannot move in the space, so it's tricky. So I have to find a way to actually find a player that can calibrate when the two persons are looking straight, and give exactly play at the same time the two videos, so they can synchronize. But actually they're looking at the same at the same video. So all the actions have to be, how will you say it? Like not contrary? Yes. The same. Yeah. Yeah. When there is cross, there is like mess. But as long as it's like yeah. So the group experience that is based on error, that's something that we love as well, that things doesn't have to be perfect. And in this case, if they don't do wrong, they probably is related with having also more fun, because when they do right, they have a lot of reward. For instance, you will see, I think they really missed, and then they got it, and it's like, okay. This experience that I was talking about, having the same, the idea of having these dancers on a stage and also a show for the public. So we talk about micro gestures and experience with those who also have the VR headset, something that maybe all of you have also keep in mind as well at some point. It's interesting idea also to play. As why are you doing this? Experiment a lot. Thanks. And now to work. I'm going to explain you a little bit about how we record. Okay, you have some papers on the. So what you have to do today is you're going to divide in those, please. Okay, maybe two groups. You're going to divide in two groups, okay? And you're going to record a narrative. So you're going to record a narrative about anything. You have some basic instructions. It should be about 2-3 minutes tops, okay? Because after, if you want to experience what you did, you will need time. And today, the workshop, we are already over the time plan, so we need to be fast. So I'm going to give you some guidelines about how you should record this embodied experience, okay? So, the first thing that you have to think is that the point of view, like this embodied perspective, you have the camera on top of your head. And you head basically is a tripod. You have to think it as a tripod. You cannot move your head while you're filming, okay? Because that will make a lot of dizziness and being uncomfortable for the user. Because of what? It's very simple. I mean, if you are seeing the building that is there and suddenly the building goes away, you get lost. And that will happen if you're recording. So, stay still, try to look at your center, your spine and so, center. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. You can breathe. If you breathe too much, try to make your, like a chicken, you know. Try to make your head stable. And what else? We have the interactions, the multisensory approach. Okay, we are going to play today with that. So try, be creative, start to think about the multisensory approach. You already saw something with smell, touch. We have more than 5 senses, of course. We have like intuition and a lot of more stuff. So you can also play with that concept. You can also play with presence, maybe. You want to play with a person being close to you or not being close. Anything that you can create like related with the senses. But at least try to play like 3, 4, so. Anyway, you have also what we call these types of interaction that you saw change. It was, one is the passive interaction, when you don't have to worry about anything. So you are relaxed, having like a nice experience, and suddenly someone touches your hand and do stuff and do very nice things. So you're like, oh wow, cool, because for you it's not like an effort, no? And that worked very well and very nice. You have like the active interactions, when you actually copy the movements of what the actor did before in the recording, like grabbing the mask, you know? So in the grabbing the mask, nobody was touching anyone, so you see that your hands are moving, so you should copy the movements of what you see. So that would be what we call an active action. By the way, those names are not officially some way to refer to. If you have like maybe better way of addressing this is something that we really want to go deep more into it, to design even better ways of creating these narratives. There is something that is also one that is reactive, that is very interesting as well. Is if someone like an inflatable swim pool ball, someone throws to you, your intention is like to grab it. Or if they say punch it, you try to punch it. But it's automatic, it's an automatic response. Or someone drops like an iron thing for the clothes, put it in your hand, do like this. So when that happens in the video, in the experience is like super amazing. If you can think about something like that and it works, it's super amazing because then you don't know who initiated the movement. So you don't feel that you were copying, you feel that you were doing, but the video was doing it as well. So you get my mess in your mind and say, okay, wow. So it's also very interesting to do. And the actions should be very, very slow. For instance, if the plan is reaching the smartphone, it's very slow, very slow, very slow. I reach the smartphone. My head is still. I don't look at the smartphone or anything. I just imagine. And if I put it very slow, and I put it. If you're going to do like this button, and then, and volume, so it's very complex. So don't do that. Like this. like next difficulty level. But as long as you do it slow and easy to do things, for instance, if you grab the hand, take in mind if you grab it with these 2 fingers or you grab it with the whole hand, because that will make a difference. Because you are very sensible, no? So you will know if you're grabbing like from here, and in the video someone is grabbing you from here, but in the reality someone is grabbing you from here. That doesn't mind. So try to be performers. That's when you get to be performers at the end, and when you try to do your best about these little details. And me, you often are more perfectionist somehow. I really try to push it very hard, but for this exercise you don't have to be so strict. But I just think about it. So things that are easy to replicate, let me know if I forget something. Things that are easy to replicate, and the multisensory approach, the types of interactions. And for this exercise, we are not going to have time, so we are not going to do many shots, many scenes. We are going to do only one scene. So it's going to be, how do you say in English, like a straight shot. About 1 minute, so you think about what is going to happen. About the audio, we usually use binaural audio and microphones, so you have a little more immersion. But then we need a software to convert this audio, so for today we are not going to use it, just go with the camera. This camera doesn't have many resolution, in the sense that if you are like very far away, you will not see the details of the face or the gestures of the person, that for instance with Christian. So with Christian, if you plan something that Christian is doing something and you are here, no, it doesn't work. So it has to be very, very close. At least think about tops like 2 meters or so on, like acting and interaction. Okay. What else? If you are acting, if you are going to look at the eyes of the person, always look at the camera. No, don't look at the eyes. Sorry, please 1 second. This camera has like 255 degree lens. This is, by the way, called the Kodak Pix Pro 4K. It's not the best camera, but it's very practical. Actually, Macropole that we talk about, you should look, by the way, the work of Macropole in Copenhagen. I think we learn mutually from each other, but what we learned from them is that they were using these cameras and says, oh, the Kodak. So we started also to look for the Kodak. And the thing is that this camera takes 255, that means a little bit more than 108. So take that in mind. If you interact, if you do some acting, try not to be on the 180, try to be less. So you are here or you act here, and try not to stand at the sides. But aside from that, when you are filming or recording, we usually don't use the 360, I mean, in workshops. Because that is easy for you to stand in the back and see that everything is working, you know. Sometimes we use the 360, so we put the cameras here, and then we can capture a bit. So the difference is not so much in terms of like really experiencing the feelings, let's say. It gives you a little bit more the idea of being there, but really not much, because once you have a body and body awareness, so you look down and you have your legs and hands, you're normally not looking like this, so it's not so realistic in that sense. So it's not that important, and a lot of people in virtual reality, when they work with a 360 video, they say that 180 video for VR is quite okay. So it works. It's nice. It's cool. So that should be here. The camera should be pointing down a little bit, so 20 degrees or something like that. You can fix it with the helmet, but the idea is that this side rests on the top of your nose. So that gives you an angle. Then you have these screws. And also, we just bring some other even more simple that you don't want to use the helmet, because the helmet actually is for the 360 shots. So if it is hot outside and so on, we use only this head wristband, and it's just basically the same. So you put it, you put the camera. So the thing is that you make sure that the camera, and then I give you the camera and we go to work because I'm taking too much time. But so this will be a bit wrong, I guess. So you need to fix it. So the camera should be horizontal. Should have the angle down, okay? And this will be bad as well. So it should be like in the middle of your nose. Your head as a tripod. Move, move, move. Think about the smells. Think about everything. The cameras are prepared. So you will have both possibilities. If the helmet or this, depends on how you feel more comfortable. ¿Qué más? No. Yeah. So I guess you will have not so much time, but think about what person, only one person of you is going to have the helmet. Because maybe you can think on some shots, I am in this body and then another body, but for this time it's just one shot, so one person using the helmet. So try to not to do walking movements or so on. So just sitting down, and if you want two persons for one reason to stand up, you help the person stand up. Or you tell them, explicitly tell them, I try to stand up. So the user, after, he will know that he will stand up at that moment. Because if you don't have this audio signal or someone helping you, and someone stand out, it will get a little bit dizzy. So try to be the whole shot for the sake of this exercise, or standing up or sitting down. Okay? What else? I'm going to explain how to use the cameras, and then you have like 40 minutes to go outside, and then we bring the material. Okay? Ya pensé el tiempo y ya está. Any questions? So now from now on we go to production. So we finish here in the classroom, and hopefully after we can come here back and show the results.